A wanderer eating raw meat coughs up blood and collapses into a river. The blood flows with the current into the city. In just one night, an unknown, terrifying virus appears in Moscow. Countless infected people go mad. Their pupils turn white, transforming them into bloodthirsty monsters. But the government covers it up, deceiving the public that it's just a common flu. A disaster is about to unfold. On a normal day, Anna suddenly wakes up from a nightmare. Her husband, Sergei, seeing her so panicked, comforts her. Just then, the phone rings. After reading a text, Sergei immediately heads to the park to play with his young son, Anton. It turns out his former mother-in-law had told him his ex-wife wasn't home, so she arranged for the father and son to meet. While the two are having fun, his ex-wife Irina shows up to ruin the moment. She criticizes Sergei for violating their divorce agreement, saying he can't see their son without her permission. Hearing this, Sergei doesn't know what to do and can only stand there as Irina criticizes him, calling him a terrible person. At that exact moment, a passerby suddenly collapses. A man starts coughing violently and falls to the ground. Everyone rushes over. Sergei's kind-hearted former mother-in-law runs to perform CPR on him, but no one notices that the man's eyes are stark white, as if he has some kind of disease. Interrupted by this incident, Irina says no more and takes her son away. As for Sergei, after returning home, he watches the news and calls Anna over to see. It turns out the TV is reporting that an unidentified virus is spreading through Moscow. The host invites an expert to explain the virus, originally hoping the expert would reassure the public. But to everyone's surprise, the virus expert reveals the terrifying truth, saying the transmission rate is extremely fast. After infection, people will cough violently, and although it resembles pneumonia, the symptoms are far more severe. The infected person's eyes will change, they will cough up blood, and they will likely die in 3 to 4 days. Seeing the expert speak so gravely, the host quickly cuts him off, saying the number of infected people in Moscow is very low and there's no need to worry. But the expert continuously objects, stating that according to the latest data, there are already 2,000 infected people, and the government shouldn't hide this from the public. Before the expert can finish, the program is cut off. It seems the situation is not that simple. Meanwhile, the entire city is under strict lockdown. The army is monitoring all entrances and exits. Irina, still unaware of the severity, is at work. She notices many of her colleagues are wearing masks. In the bathroom, she hears coughing. When she opens the stall door, the person inside is already dead. Worried for her son's safety, Irina rushes from work to his school. A large crowd of parents is gathered outside the school. It turns out an infected person was discovered inside shortly before. A little girl with blood-red eyes is sitting in a corner. After the school reported it, the army arrived immediately. Staff in hazmat suits ordered the teachers to lock down the school. Soldiers then approached the infected girl, calmed her down, and began decontamination. When the girl is carried out, she's covered in white powder. Her father, seeing his daughter in this state, rushes forward to check on her, but is stopped by the soldiers, forced to watch helplessly as she is taken away. The school is now on lockdown. Irina arrives and notices something is wrong. She quickly calls Anton's smartwatch. Luckily, he answers. Anton is hiding in a closet. Hearing this, Irina breathes a sigh of relief and tells her son to come out and meet her. But when they see each other, Anton can't open the window. He's too weak. Seeing this, Irina tells him to step aside, grabs a rock, and shatters the glass. Mother and son are reunited, but they have no idea that the entire city has fallen out of control, with no one allowed in or out. So, how will they escape? Elsewhere, Sergei and Anna are fast asleep when they are woken by a loud noise. Fearing something is wrong, he carefully goes downstairs to investigate. He sees a light shining in and quickly hides behind a wall, ready to attack. It turns out to be his father, Boris. Sergei sighs in relief, lets his father in, and introduces him to Anna. Boris came because he was worried about his son. He scolds Sergei for still being there. Even though they're in the suburbs, Moscow is completely locked down. The government has lost control of the outbreak. Besides, when a plague breaks out, human nature won't stand the test. When people flee the city, this place will sooner or later become dangerous. Seeing how serious Boris is, Sergei can only agree to leave the next day. Meanwhile, Irina, after rescuing Anton, returns home and doesn't dare to go out. She's worried about her mother, who went out in the morning and hasn't returned. Just then, there's a knock on the door. Irina opens it to see her mother, who is infected. Terrified, Irina quickly slams the door shut. Her mother outside keeps begging her to open it, but Irina is too scared, ignoring their family bond and leaving her mother outside. In the middle of the night, Sergei sneaks out, planning to go back to Moscow to save Anton. He tells his father that if he doesn't return in time, he should take Anna and leave. Boris hears this and doesn't stop him. But the entire city is now sealed off. The main roads are impassable. So Sergei pays a truck driver to let him hide in the refrigerated compartment. Just like that, he gets into the city. When Anna wakes up, she reads the note Sergei left, saying he went back to Moscow to save his son and telling her not to worry. At this point, all Anna can do is pray for Sergei's safety. Just then, there's a noise outside. Boris is looking through binoculars and spots two armed men heading to their neighbor Leona's house. Boris recognizes who they are and silently prays they won't come to their house. But Leona, thinking nothing of it, lets the two men in. Seeing strangers enter, his wife Marina becomes wary. Leona explains they're just here to check if anyone is infected. But once inside, the men reveal their true colors. They keep praising the house's design and then give Leona orders, showing no intention of checking anything. Leona now realizes something is wrong and demands they leave after they're done. But unfortunately, it's easy to get in, but hard to leave. The two have no intention of going. Seeing the situation getting out of control, Leona grabs a photo, claiming to know some generals, trying to scare them away. Before Leona can finish, one of the men knocks him unconscious. A short while later, the two men are carrying the TV out of the house. Boris sees this and immediately checks his weapon, preparing for them to come bother him. But after looting, the two don't leave right away. They target the terrified Marina. Just as they are about to make their move, there's a noise from behind. The man collapses in fear. It turns out to be Leona's daughter, Paulina. The other looter, still oblivious, decides to check the next house. He goes to Sergei's house and skillfully opens the iron gate. He has no idea Boris already has a gun pointed at him. The moment he steps inside, Boris shoots him dead on the spot. The loud gunshot alerts the man in the car, who quickly gets out to check. Just as Anna is terrified, her son Misha runs outside with a gun. At the same time, the man who was stabbed through the chest isn't dead yet. He's choking Paulina. Just as she's about to suffocate, Paulina struggles with all her might, falling backward, and the man dies without a gasp. As Paulina is in a state of shock, Misha runs over with a gun. It turns out he was worried about Paulina, which is why he rushed in regardless of the danger. Seeing Misha, who has autism, run over, Paulina doesn't know what to do. Luckily, the immediate danger is over. Seeing his two accomplices dead, the driver raises his hands in surrender. He comes to Sergei's door, begging for his life and asking Boris to let him take the bodies. Seeing he poses no threat, Boris agrees. Everyone then runs to Leona's house to check on him. Leona wakes up, full of regret, shocked at how vicious people can become. If it weren't for Boris, they'd likely be dead. But now is not the time for fear. Boris knows the looters won't stop, and they need to find a way to get out of there. But they have to wait for Sergei to return. Meanwhile, Sergei has already snuck into the city. He planned to ask the driver to wait a few minutes, but the situation is tense, and the driver demands more money. No matter how much Sergei pleads, he won't change his mind. Sergei has no choice but to give him all his money to make him wait. He then runs to Irina's house. Irina is overjoyed to see Sergei, but she still has to check his eyes. After confirming he's not infected, she lets him in. Time is short. After packing their bags, Sergei leads them back to the truck. But the road is littered with animal carcasses. It seems the driver was robbed after Sergei left. When they get back to the truck, they find the driver dead. With no other choice, Sergei has to drive the truck himself and try to get past the soldiers. But things aren't as simple as he thinks. At a checkpoint, soldiers stop the truck and demand to see his papers. Sergei quickly provides them. After checking and finding no issues, the soldiers start to inspect the cargo bay. He thought they'd just give it a quick look, but a soldier opens the container. After checking and finding nothing, they are about to let him pass when a soldier spots Irina hiding inside. Seeing his ex-wife and son discovered, Sergei slams on the gas and speeds away. The sudden event catches the soldiers off guard. By the time they grab their guns to shoot, Sergei is already far away. Back at the looters' base, after robbing Leona's house, the leader punishes them by shooting off one of the looters' fingers. He then orders them to prepare for revenge against Boris. At Boris's house, everyone is packed and is ready to leave at any moment, but Anna refuses to go, worried about Sergei. As they argue, they hear a vehicle approaching. Fearing it's the looters coming back for revenge, they all hide, preparing for a fight. When they get a clear look, they breathe a sigh of relief. It's Sergei, who has returned before dawn. A worried Anna runs to him and hugs him tightly. Seeing them so loving, Irina is filled with jealousy, hating Sergei for abandoning her. But now is not the time for blame. Since Sergei is back, they must prepare to leave. After checking the car, Leona discovers it's out of gas and won't go far. He tells Sergei to go to the shed, where there are 2 cans of gasoline. But when Sergei gets there, he also sees 2 cans on a shelf. In a hurry to leave, he doesn't differentiate and grabs 2 cans, pouring them into the car, unaware that he's taken summer-grade gasoline. As a result, their car starts smoking after a short drive. With no other option, they have to tow it to a nearby gas station. But Leona has other ideas. He hides the tow rope, claiming he forgot it. He says he'll drive back to get it, and tells them to wait. In reality, he wants to abandon them and drive his family to an airport to leave the country. But he has no idea that the looters have already reached their neighborhood, massacring people, and are now chasing them. Going back means certain death. Luckily, halfway there, Marina says she needs to use the bathroom, so Leona has to stop. This single act saves his family. Paulina, waiting in the car, sees a few vehicles up ahead. She quickly gets out and tells Leona that those are the looters hunting them. The leader had seen the photo of Leona with his car and immediately recognized it, guessing they couldn't have gotten far. He orders his men to search the woods. Leona's family runs and hides down a slope. The looters find their way there. Just as they are about to be discovered, one of the looters says they should stop searching. After all, they're just here for money, not to kill people. This angers the leader, who beats him severely. At that moment, the other members can't take it anymore and shoot the leader dead. They then turn back and drive away in Leona's car. Just like that, Leona's family escapes danger. Leona then calls Sergei, telling him they found the tow rope but ran into trouble, and asks them to come pick them up. Sergei, hearing the news, doesn't think twice and drives over. He then discovers Leona tricked him. Leona says if he hadn't lied, Sergei wouldn't have come. Sergei is furious but has no choice but to take them, though he only agrees to drop them at the gas station. So, they all drive to the gas station, only to find it packed with people and out of fuel. To make matters worse, someone there is coughing continuously. A woman, suspecting he's infected, starts screaming. In the tense situation, a man with a knife rushes forward and the crowd descends into chaos. Everyone scrambles to escape, leaving only Leona's family behind. Leona goes to the convenience store. After handing over a wad of cash, they are allowed inside. They thought they could spend the night there, but the gas station owner is no good man. Seeing the beautiful Paulina, he gets a wicked idea. He pretends to offer her a drink, wanting her to have a glass with him. As he approaches, Leona sees his intentions and stands up to block him. Seeing Leona's attitude, the owner drops the act and pulls out a shotgun, threatening to kick them all out. Just when they don't know what to do, Sergei drives back. He couldn't bring himself to abandon them. Seeing his righteous act, Leona is deeply moved and tells Sergei that the owner is hoarding a lot of gas and not selling it. So they come up with a plan. Sergei goes to the door, offering to buy gas at a high price. When the owner reaches out for the money, Sergei grabs his hand. Then, Leona rushes in with a gun and knocks him out without a word. Just like that, they rob the gas station, taking the gas and the owner's car with them. With this fuel, they follow Boris's advice and head for an island on Lake Vongozero. Boris had said there's an abandoned boat there where he used to vacation, a suitable place to take shelter. So, the group drives 1,000 kilometers towards Lake Vongozero. Halfway there, their path is blocked by a fire truck. Sergei sees soldiers everywhere. It seems a battle has ended. After confirming there's no more danger, Sergei decides to move the fire truck. As he's pulling it away, he discovers a surviving soldier behind the vehicle. As he checks on him, the soldier suddenly jumps up and stabs Sergei, who immediately passes out. This sudden turn of events throws everyone into a panic. They quickly get Sergei out of there and find a nearby village to ask for help. The villagers, seeing they have guns, eventually let them in. Irina then uses a needle and thread to stitch up Sergei's wound, temporarily stopping the bleeding. Anna gives the villagers some of their food as thanks for letting them stay. But after a man sees their trunk full of food, he gets the idea to rob them. That night, due to the winter cold and Sergei's severe injury, he develops a high fever. Without antibiotics, he could die. As everyone is at their wits' end, Leona finds a veterinarian nearby. The vet arrives with a huge syringe. Looking at the needle, Irina is worried and asks if it will work. The vet replies, if it can cure a cow, it can cure a human. Sure enough, after the injection, Sergei's condition improves significantly. Everyone is overjoyed. But just as they let their guard down, the man from the village appears and approaches Misha, who is packing things up. After taking the vet back, Leona discovers all the food from their car is gone, and he finds Misha lying motionless on the ground. Realizing they've been robbed, Leona storms into the man's house. When he barges in, he sees a horrific sight. The man's entire family is infected. Their eyes are white, and they are eating raw flesh. The infected woman, having lost all reason, lunges at Leona. In a panic, Leona has no choice but to pull the trigger. Witnessing a murder, the group can only pack their things and leave. As they are leaving, they happen to pass an ambulance being blocked by villagers. After learning there are medical supplies on board, the villagers turn into looters, fighting over the supplies. Seeing the tragic scene, everyone is stunned. Irina can't just sit there. She grabs a gun and rushes forward to save the people in the ambulance. When the gunshot rings out, the villagers scatter. The group manages to save a doctor, but the driver has been beaten to death. They then quickly drive away. But they don't realize that Anton, terrified, has jumped out of the car and run off. By the time he runs back, the car is long gone. He has no choice but to go to a nearby village for help. There, he sees soldiers executing infected people. To prevent the plague from spreading, these soldiers shoot people on sight. Just then, a patrol spots Anton. Seeing the soldiers approach, he quickly runs into a hospital and hides under a bed, but he's still discovered. Just as he's about to be shot, a doctor appears and saves him. After knocking out the soldier, the doctor takes Anton to her home. They have barely been home for long when the soldiers arrive. The villagers hiding in the basement dare not make a sound. Only the doctor's drunk husband is asleep on the bed. The soldiers come in to check and shoot him dead without a word. Hearing the gunshot, everyone is terrified. When they come out to check, the doctor's husband is dead. Seeing the body, the villagers know they will share the same fate sooner or later, so they decide to fight back. They begin to train, preparing to resist at any time. Meanwhile, Sergei's group realizes Anton is missing. Irina, worried sick, blames Anna for everything. But Anna doesn't know where the boy went either. Now is not the time for arguing. They have to find him quickly. They drive back, but the bridge is empty. Luckily, Boris spots footprints in the snow. They follow the tracks into the forest, where they find Dr. Pavel and a pile of bodies. Irina is stunned by the sight. She runs forward recklessly to search for her son, but doesn't find his body. As Irina is sobbing, a helicopter flies overhead and drops leaflets. It's the government's evacuation plan. The group thinks that if Anton is okay, he might have been evacuated. They head to the location on the leaflet and, looking through binoculars, they spot a young boy. Irina rushes forward regardless of the danger. But when she gets on the bus, she realizes it's not Anton. Sergei asks a soldier if he's seen a boy in red clothes. Just then, the doctor spots them. The soldiers won't let them leave and try to force them onto the evacuation bus. Seeing they won't comply, Boris pulls out his gun and threatens the soldiers, demanding they let them go. A standoff is imminent. As more soldiers arrive, Sergei and his group are about to be surrounded. The villagers suddenly rise up in resistance, drawing their guns to face the soldiers. In the end, they win. After searching for food, the doctor approaches Sergei and tells them Anton's current whereabouts. Finally, Irina is reunited with her son. After thanking everyone, the group continues their escape. But they don't get far before Anna starts coughing violently. She is clearly infected. They have no choice but to stop nearby. At this point, Leona has another scheme. Since Anna is infected, he doesn't want his family to be put at risk. After discussing it, his family decides to head for Lake Vongozero first. Back with Anna, Dr. Pavel reveals his secret. It turns out that when the plague first broke out, he was exposed to many patients. All the other patients died from the infection, but he alone survived. He suspects his body has antibodies. So, he uses his own blood serum to treat Anna. After a few days of treatment, Anna indeed recovers. Meanwhile, Leona's family runs into trouble. Marina is in severe abdominal pain. She's about to give birth. But in the middle of the wilderness, there's no one to help deliver the baby. Leona can only try to calm his wife. In a moment of distraction, he crashes the car down a slope. Although the three of them survive, Marina loses the baby. Her mental state becomes unstable, and she clutches the stillborn baby, refusing to let go. But outside, the temperature is dozens of degrees below zero. If they don't find shelter, they'll freeze to death by nightfall. With no other choice, Leona has to drag his wife and Paulina into the forest, hoping to find a house. And they are lucky. Just as Leona is about to collapse from exhaustion, he sees smoke rising in the distance. Leona regains his spirit. At that moment, an old woman using the outhouse hears footsteps outside. In these chaotic times, the old woman cautiously grabs her gun, but she's a step too slow. The door is kicked open. Leona points his gun at her, but he doesn't shoot, instead locking her in the basement. Just like that, Leona takes over her house, giving Marina and Paulina a temporary place to stay. In the middle of the night, while Marina is asleep, he takes the stillborn baby and cremates it. He knows that if he doesn't, Marina will go insane. No one knows this decision will bring danger upon himself. The next morning, Marina wakes up to find the baby gone and starts searching. When she runs outside, a voice from the basement tells her the baby is down there. Marina, having lost all reason, runs over and opens the basement door. A short while later, Paulina is awoken by the barrel of a gun. The old woman has escaped and now locks Paulina in the basement. In the darkness, Paulina finds her father beaten badly, and Marina has gone completely mad. Just like that, her whole family is imprisoned. They go without food for a day and a night. Dying of thirst, Paulina can only beg the old woman. Finally, she throws them a bottle of water. But getting food isn't so easy. Leona becomes the old woman's slave, forced to chop wood and boil water every day. But his hard labor only earns them moldy food. They can't escape and can only remain trapped in the basement. Elsewhere, Anna has recovered. Led by Sergei, they continue their journey to Lake Vongozero. On the way, they come across Leona's car. The ground is covered in blood. But after searching, they don't find anyone. It's getting dark. If they don't leave, they'll freeze to death. So they have to get back in their car. But Misha, who likes Paulina, refuses to leave, determined to find her. As Sergei and his son argue, Misha suddenly has a seizure and faints. With no other choice, they put Misha in the car and head for Lake Vongozero. Soon, they arrive. They bring their food onto the abandoned ship. But as they board, Sergei notices the door is open. Someone has clearly been here before them. They go inside to investigate and find signs of human life. In the hold, they find a corpse with its lower leg sawn off. Pavel suspects this was stored as food. The person responsible must be a maniac. A short time later, a man returns. He is quickly subdued by Sergei. Sergei doesn't intend to kill him, but to drive him away. With no choice, the man packs up his companion's body and leaves under Sergei's threat. The man says he just escaped from prison. There were originally 10 of them, but most starved to death due to lack of food. He only survived by resorting to cannibalism. As he says this, he remembers something. If he leaves the ship, he will surely freeze or starve to death outside. He begs Sergei to spare him and let him join them. But Sergei can't keep a psychopath like that. Paying him no mind, the man suddenly pulls out a knife. Luckily, Sergei was on high alert and shoots him before he can strike, finishing him off. After burying the 2 bodies, the group begins their struggle for survival. Misha still can't stop thinking about Paulina. A few days later, against everyone's objections, he takes a weapon and drives away from Lake Vongozero, determined to find her. He returns to the crash site and follows a trail of blood deep into the forest. He walks from morning until dark, finally seeing a light ahead. Inside the house at that moment, Leona is tied to a bed. The lonely old woman is about to make a move on him. Misha unfortunately steps on a bear trap. The pain is excruciating, and he nearly passes out. Unable to free himself, Misha grits his teeth and shoots the chain of the trap. The noise alerts the old woman, but at that moment, Leona attacks her, knocking her out with the headboard. Leona then goes to the window to check and sees someone lying outside. Realizing it's Misha, Leona quickly brings him inside and removes the trap. After treating his wound, Leona learns that Misha snuck away from the group. To reunite with everyone, Leona lets the old woman go. They get in the car and head back toward Lake Vongozero. Meanwhile, Sergei's group is also in danger. That night, while everyone is worried about Misha's disappearance, there's a loud explosion outside. They run out to see a crashed airplane. Sergei and the doctor go to investigate, but find nothing. As they are returning, a foreign flight attendant suddenly threatens them with a knife. Pavel looks at the man's eyes and knows he's infected. It seems the plague has spread worldwide. The man orders them to drop their weapons, but how could they listen to him? As they are in a standoff, Pavel takes a scalpel and slashes the man's eyes. He breaks free from the man's grasp, and then Sergei fires his gun, killing him. The immediate trouble is resolved. The next day, Sergei is fishing when he sees people walking towards them. Because of what happened the day before, Sergei becomes extremely wary and quickly raises his gun. As the group gets closer, he recognizes them as Leona's family. They embrace each other. The 2 families are finally reunited. Just when everyone thinks they are safe, a huge explosion rings out. The ship is engulfed in flames. Everyone panics and runs toward the ship. Soldiers in the distance have also seen this. A great danger is approaching. So, that is the entire plot of Season 1 of the series, To the Lake. What do you think of this series? Is it good? On a scale of 1 to 10, what score would you give this show? Leave your answers in the comments below to let us know. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and see you again.